A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
Chapter 4. Peacetime. The road back home. As the carriage wheels clack a steady rhythm over the cobblestones, you watch the lands of Magra rendered dry and desolate by ancient magic sail by the window. You are back in your home province, but you are no longer the boy who left it by this very road 4 years ago. You return a nobleman and a judge. You are continuing the family trade. You have returned to serve at the province's prefecture. Your home, Anazote, is but a few hours away along this dusty road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even with the thick blinders shut tight. It is a familiar heat, but you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavy on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You'll see your family again soon. To pass the time before you return home, you read your father's most recent letter. Again and again you carefully read your father's uneasy words, steeling yourself for the first real job that you will have and the service that awaits. Dear Brian, I anxiously await your return, my son. You are the third judge in our bloodline, the pride of our family. Yet these are hard times for a judge. By the Emperor's decree, Archduke Tarquinius Milandus is no longer the overseer of Magra. The new overseer is the Emperor's own brother, Gaius Tempest, and now the province has been split by enmity and strife between the Archduke and the overseer. The nobles have split into two factions, and so too have the commoners. Some side with the Archduke, loyal to their liege and determined to follow the traditions of old, yet many judges and officials are eager to side with Gaius Tempest as the new overseer. Compared to his brother Cornelius, he is less radical and more cautious, but he too seeks to transform the empire and bring the estates to peace. Yet other Archnians are outraged that Archduke Melanidas has been deposed. One among them is Dorius Autumn, High Commander of Magra. Although Autumn and his men are sworn to serve Gaius Tempest and follow his orders, it is no secret that his loyalty remains with the Archduke. While Gaius and the Archduke are at odds, there's been no open confrontation yet. I fear their patience may one day run dry. As for the judges at the prefecture, every day we deal with more and more litigation between nobles and commoners, yet there are no imperial laws that clearly formalize the rights of all three estates. Wisdom, honor, and conscientious are every judge's best advisors these days. You made the choice to serve the law, and you will have your work cut out for you. You will answer directly to Prefect Augustine Elborn, a long-standing friend of the family. He needs strong allies now more than ever. With the support of people such as you and I, the Prefect intends to alter the fate of our province. I am looking forward to seeing you back in Anazote, Brian. You put the letter back in your pockets. The walls of Anazote have finally emerged on the horizon. A challenging job at the prefecture awaits you. But first, you're going home. Okay, we're at peacetime. We're back in the home province. What can happen? Okay, not too much. We've got the Autumn sentence. So for that, we would need justice? What is justice? I guess we'll find out. We've got protect the people or evidence against Autumn. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. So that would be if Autumn is betrayed, or is not betrayed? Anyways. We've got Autumn faces the court of honor. Career, I guess that's a stat we'll have. Honestly, I'm looking at these conditions, and I don't even really know what they do. We've got Knight of the Serpents, which is The supporters of Milandus take over the city. Broken chains. Rebellious citizens take control of the city. True death. Yeah, let's try not to get that. What else? Okay. The most important events that may happen. Okay. We've got ennobled by the sword. Ooh, that'd be fun. We'd need to get a lot of a reputation to get that to happen. And wealth and unity. And not branded by dishonor, and the family cannot be in ruins. Favored by the overseer. Okay. So glorious bloodline, or family means, wealth, reputation, unity. I've got heir of the family. Yeah. Okay, interesting. That would be... I'm not sure if that implies we're going to kill our brother, or just, like, gain enough favor to, like, leapfrog over him, but that could be an interesting thing to do. The family falls apart. It's probably not good, so we'll want to keep the unity up somewhat. Okay. Oh, we've got a family of means, which would be if we get a bunch of wealth. Mother recovers. Okay. We need a lot of unity and willpower. Gloria Brante. Aww. So we need the family at peace or a secret plot with Gloria. Secrets aren't really my forte, so that might be tough. Branded by dishonor. Probably don't want that. You need a lot of, or very little reputation. Family at peace. Okay, you need... Alright, so we need unity. Stephen can't be killed in the duel, or have a secret plot, and Gloria can't have a secret plot or be betrothed. And we would need to unite the family. Sounds tough. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Okay, we've got occupation things. Protector of the people, which you need to protect the common folk for. Patronage of the powerful, gain a powerful patron. Okay. Join La Tari Sikil. Court of Honor banned. We can ban the Court of Honor, apparently. We can gather evidence against Autumn. The occupation screen is now available. Let's look at that real quick. Okay. So we've got the career stat. This is the support of the authorities and nobility on your path to the post of Prefect of Magra. Okay. So we can have career in Ruins, Dangerous Position, Judge, Future Prefect, and Tyranny of the Nobles. Okay. Interesting. And then for Justice, the strength of the prefecture and the power of law in the province. So we've got downfall of the prefecture, lawlessness, fight for justice, commoners are protected, commoners seize power. So it's interesting. Like, for example, this judge thing, like, future prefect sounds pretty sweet. Tyranny of the nobles, granted we're nobles, so that probably wouldn't be too bad for us, but, it's not really a bell curve, because that's just the distribution of things, but it's kind of one of those things of, like, either extreme might kind of be bad, and want something more so in the middle, right? Like, in this case, yeah, I might want the commoners protected a bit. Certainly don't want them seizing power, though. Like, come on. I'm a noble, I'm part of the system now. Anyways, we'll continue. We'll see where this goes. Just looking at all of those things that can potentially happen, I'm actually quite excited, because, like, I was somewhat concerned, honestly, that maybe we would, build our character and choose one of our three paths, and then that's basically it, and now we just go down one of three paths. But it, based on all of the different things that can happen, it sounds like there's still a lot we can do to affect this world. So I'm looking forward to it. $11:38. Homecoming. The carriage stops. The familiar gates, your bedroom window. The same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended gardens with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and Mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off of when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool as usual. Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. You hear hurried footsteps coming from the direction of Father's study. Before you have time to take off your traveling cloak, You are crushed in Stefan's strong embrace. Your brother has grown taller and more broad-shouldered. When he detaches himself from you, you notice how harsh his features have become. He looks even more like grandfather now. You've grown so much over the last 4 years, Brian. Just look at you. You left a low-born boy, but you've come back Sir Brante. I'm so glad you've joined us in the noble estates. You respond by giving your brother a wrapped gift. Stefan unwraps it carefully. When he sees the sword, a boyish smile appears on his stern face. It's beautiful. What a wonderful gift, brother. Maybe I should start a collection. What do you think? There's no hurry, Stefan. And now let me have a look at the prefecture's new judge. Father approaches you, his hand extended. You shake it and wrap your arms around him. Father looks older. His back is hunched, and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth, and silver threads in his dark hair and mustache. Taking a step back, Father examines you from head to toe. What fine posture. You had excellent teachers. I'm so proud you made it, son. Mother comes out of the living room, leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of the illness you read about in the letters from home. Her back is bent, her hair is gray. A thin web of wrinkles covers her face, and her complexion has lost its color. She can barely stand unassisted. Nathan leads Mother to you. Slowly, very delicately, she embraces you. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds your shoulders and studies your face for a long time. You've been away so long, son. How you've grown. Just a short while ago, I was cradling you in my arms. You look so much like your father when he was at your age, Sir Brian Brante. Nathan approaches you next. What the? I'm not sure what I expected from Nathan. I did not. That's a new look. It suits him, though. It suits him. Your younger brother is now as tall as you are, and his hair almost reaches his shoulders, but he still has the same lost look in his eye he had when he was a boy. And here's your ne'er-do-well little brother. He hasn't changed a bit, or grown an inch after all this time. He couldn't get into the seminary, so he just hangs around. Nathan lets out a heavy sigh and awkwardly puts his arm around you. I'm glad to see you back, Brian. Home just hasn't been the same without you. You hear a snort behind you. Everyone turns. At the top of the stairs stands Gloria, her arms crossed across her chest. She's dressed as a man in culottes, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. The entire family waits for her to greet you. Stefan shakes his head disapprovingly. Your sister descends as if forcing herself to do it. A few steps away from you, Gloria stops and bows. Welcome to your home, Sir Brante. Your sister looks thinner and leaner than she used to. She has dark circles under her eyes, as though she has been sleeping too little, or crying too much. Enough pleasantries! Come on in, the table is set. Lydia has prepared a veritable feast for you. For the first time in years, the entire family is together. You can finally spend some time with another member of your family today. And the question is, to whom will we give our precious time? We can find out how Mother's doing, improve our relationship with Lydia, support Gloria, which would hurt our relationship with Stefan, but Gloria would like us a bit more. Ask Nathan, which would just improve our relationship with Nathan. Or talk to Stefan. Okay, so... And actually, this is interesting, because... And it would seem to me that... And granted, I could be completely wrong on this. It kind of seems like, at least based off this first thing, maybe our stat choices are starting to be a bit more concrete. Which means now we've got decisions where it's not what do I really want to build myself into, but like... I mean, this is just a relationship of purely which relationships do I want to value and build amongst my family? I do kind of want to see how Gloria's doing. She seems off, and like just the fact that I became a noble seems to have soured my relationship with her a fair bit, which doesn't sit right with me. However, it does seem that Stefan and Gloria are kind of two sides of the same coin here. It seems if I'm improving things with Gloria, I'm hurting things with Stefan, and vice versa. So, from a mathematical perspective, that means I probably should either check on Mother or Nathan. That being said, I already have a good relationship with Stefan, and I'm sure I'll get more opportunities to increase it later. Perhaps even ones that don't involve hurting Gloria's feelings. Now, granted, maybe I'll have opportunities to increase Gloria's opinion of me and build that relationship without hurting Stefan's feelings in the future. At this point in time, I don't know which of those opportunities is more likely to come up, but really, I think I gotta go with my heart here. I need to support Gloria. I don't know exactly what's going on. We've been on the rocks for a bit, just because I think she's got some preconceived notions about all of the nobility, which granted, based on interactions she's had with like her grandfather in the past, are certainly not unfounded, but it might be unfair when applied to me. I mean, we'll see, but I'd like to support Gloria. At the table, you try to ask Gloria about her life, but your sister dodges your questions. I live, I suffer, I help around the house, I know my place, just like a low-born girl is supposed to. Then keep silent, Gloria. Your brother doesn't care about the affairs of commoners anymore. Instead, why don't you tell us if you've made any useful acquaintances, Brian? Our family would benefit from some good connections right now. You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna. Only later that night, when the family is getting ready for bed, do you manage to have a conversation with your sister by the smoldering fireplace. You assure Gloria that your noble title will not come between you. She is still your sister. Gloria casts a wary glance at you. So, your sword and title haven't changed you after all? Giving in to her feelings at last, Gloria buries her face in your shoulder. You caress your sister's disheveled locks. I really hope you'll always be my brother, Brian. Mother, Nathan and I, we all seem to be unwanted in this house. Sir Robert spends all his time at work, so Stefan has been running the household. It's taken a heavy toll on Mother. I can see her losing her will to live. You know, at her age, she might pass away forever and not be reborn. She has to endure a lot before she met Sir Robert, and her illness is consuming her. All Stefan cares about is getting the family ennobled by the sword. He sacrifices anyone for it. I'm worried the first thing he's going to do is drive me out of the house so I won't taint the Brante family name with my origins. I'm just an obstacle to him. A hindrance. You know, Brian, I'm not sure how much longer I can tolerate this injustice. Times are changing. If I'm lowborn, that doesn't mean I'm going to serve the nobles until my true death. All over the Empire, commoners are fighting for their rights. Gloria suddenly cuts herself short. For a long time you sit in silence, listening to the crackling fireplace. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. Come on, Stefan. You can be better than just being mini-grandpa. First day of service. Your service as a judge begins today. You get dressed early in the morning, donning a brand new jacket with a cravat and a hat. It's an immaculate look, if you dare say so yourself. You head to the prefecture with Father. The prefecture moved recently. It now occupies a massive new building of white sandstone in the very center of Anazote. A stone statue looms above it, the sword of the younger twin, the divine law that directs worldly judgments. All legal disputes in the provinces are to be resolved here. You and Father walk up the marble stairs past the commoners, merchants, and lesser nobles, all petitioners and litigants huddled by the pillar.
Well now, my son, here you shall begin your service to the Empire. In the midst of the great struggle I told you about, if you don't mind a little advice, you will serve under Sir Elborn. Follow my example and stay close to your superior. He is a human of great worth, and practically your relative.
You walk past the courtroom and up to the second floor, where judges work in their offices and receive petitioners. The corridors are many and narrow, filled with the smell of old papers, and the sounds of muffled mumbling voices and secretaries and gendarmes running to and fro. Father guides you down a corridor that ends with the door to Sir Elborn's office.
Brian, it is time for you to stand before the prefect. Remember the friendship between our families.
You knock and enter. The spacious oak-paneled office is not without decoration, yet its adornments are tasteful and elegant, rather than garish. The flag of Magra, bearing the silver tree, hangs on the wall. Behind an imposing desk sits Baron Augustine Elborn, surrounded by papers. His face wears a focused expression. You recall from his visits in the past, although it is more wrinkled than you remember. He looks up and his face comes to life. He rises and extends a hand to you.
Why, young Brian Brante, what a pleasure it is to see you again. I see your years at the capital have turned you into a stately young man. I was told you proved yourself quite capable at the college. The city of Anazote needs worthy judges who know their craft now more than ever. Allow me to welcome you into the service for the good of the Empire. I'm sure you already know the basics of judicial work. Serving at the prefecture, however, takes more than finding your way through our laws. Although they are quite labyrinthine and contradictory, there's no denying that. Anyway, anywhere you look in our province, you will see friction between the estates. Old noble blood, new nobles, rich commoners, poor commoners, they all have their legal disputes. And we judges work here to make sure this pot never boils over. If we are too eager to follow the traditions of old and bow to noble privilege, the common estate will go desperate and lose all hope for freedom. But if we openly side with the commoners, the noble's ire will be quick to find us. And so, Judge Brante, I ask you to be wary and wise. Peace hangs by a thread in this province. Carefully consider every decision you make at court before rendering your verdicts. But first, you need to get accustomed to your new position. You shall begin at once. The prefecture has already assigned you a number of legal proceedings to review and judge. Your office is ready and waiting for you, Sir Brante.
The instructions are over. The work begins. You recognize your new office by the brass plate on the door reading Sir Brian Brante, Judge. You find it rather cramped on the inside, yet still reasonably comfortable. The sturdy desk has all the stationery you need. Behind the desk is a large chair of carved wood, and in front of it are several smaller chairs for petitioners. Heavy curtains hang over the window, where the opponents for the morning light trying to shine through. There are papers on the desk already, including instructions, orders, rulings, and all sorts of other prefecture paperwork. You are about to begin when you hear a sudden knock at the door. The source of the disturbance turns out to be a stout, smartly dressed nobleman. He greets you with an elegant bow. You would not have expected from such a sizable individual.
Sir Brante, congratulations on your first day of service. Allow me to introduce myself, Judge Carlo Graben, a humble servant of the law like yourself. It is my hope that we will become fast friends. And now, if I may, a word of warning to you to help your work progress smoothly as a token of our future friendship. I am aware that Sir Elborn is your immediate supervisor. As a loyal servant of the Empire, you will, of course, take his word as your guide. Yet there is no reason to neglect all the other judges at the prefecture, all of whom are noblemen of great worth. Their guidance will most certainly aid you as a judge. It will be my pleasure, Sir Brante, to facilitate your introduction to the noble judges of the prefecture as soon as possible. I see glory in your future service to the Empire, yet it certainly cannot hurt to receive reassurance and support when you might need it most. I shall not detain you any longer, but if you wish to make some valuable connections, my office is right across from your own.
Another elegant bow from Judge Falkergraben. Yeah, that's gotta be how you pronounce that. And the door closes. You're alone at your desk once again. The scorching sun is rising over the province behind the window. Today is an important day. The day when you are to take your first steps in your new profession. What will you focus on for today? Okay, we can prepare to deal with our first cases. Get some willpower. I mean, we already have loads of it, so isn't necessarily not bad. We can get acquainted with the judges. Career would go up, justice would go down. I guess the implication here being I'm kind of becoming a bit of a crony in this case. You know, get the connections, maybe care about the law a bit less. Interesting. We can ask father for advice. Justice would go up, and career would go down. Diplomacy would go up. And we know that we can do this because, you know, father is he likes us. We have a good relationship with our dad. And obviously it's important to have a good, stable career. I don't think that'll be putting us into the danger zone just yet. Yeah, we'd still be a judge. And we'd be a bit more just if we were to do that. I don't think we really need the willpower right now. I think we're doing fine on that front. And I do like the little extra perk of getting a bit of extra diplomacy. I mean, yes, we already have, like, really good diplomacy, but, I mean, it's possible we could get all the way up to masterful diplomats, which certainly wouldn't be a bad thing. And I'm not sure if there's a meaningful difference between, like, 16 and 17. Like, I'm not sure if every check is going to be 16 or higher, or if there will be something like 17 or higher, 18 or higher. So I'm not actually quite sure how that's going to work. That's a map. We don't need that right now. So we'll ask father for some advice. We're not putting our career in the danger zone just yet, but this might be something to think about in the future. For a while, you busy yourself with paperwork and upcoming cases, until you remember that father's office is right next to yours. I imagine that might be somewhat confusing to the people. Like, oh yeah, go up to the 3rd floor and go see Judge Brante. And then they get there and it's like, oh wait, was it Brian Brante or was it Robert Brante? Also, what's my brother's profession? Like, does he just not have to do an actual job since he was noble by birth? I'm sure I'll find out eventually. Anyways, he used to help you master the intricacies of imperial law at school. Perhaps you could benefit from his experience and guidance now. You shift the case folders aside and walk out of your office. Your father is in his office, standing at the window, with a deeply pensive look. The subject of his thought is in his hand. A letter bearing the Archduke's seal. He turns around and pats you on the shoulder, then asks you about your meeting with Sir Elborn. A few moments later, you ask him to give you some advice and fill you in on the situation at the prefecture.
My son, you'd best be wary for now. Sir Elborn will be watching you closely, but this is certainly understandable. The prefect's views have made his position rather tenuous. Only a handful of judges at the prefecture have sided with him fully, and I am one of them. Yet, even I would not dare draw the ire of those above us and risk our family's welfare. When a noble and a commoner clash in the courtroom these days, the court almost always sides with the noble, no matter the circumstances, even if the commoner is wealthy. The courts are not on his side. The judges rely upon the rule of law, if and only if both parties hail from the common estates. Sir Elborn aims to change this little by little. He is eager to ensure that imperial law applies to all 3 estates in equal measure, but there are many who oppose him, from Archduke Milanides and his loyal commander Otton to our own fellow judges. Right now, Sir Elborn enjoys the backing of Gaius Tempest, but the Imperial Overseer may abandon him at any moment, so Here's my word of advice to you. Be careful. Help Sir Elborn bring the nobles under imperial law, but do not draw the ire of the other judges. Remember, more than just your career depends upon your verdicts. Even a single careless judgment may be enough to bring our family into disfavor. It was wise of you to ask me for advice before rendering verdicts on your own. I'm sure you'll be able to tackle any issues you might encounter. After all, we have prepared you for this ever since you were a child.
Your discussion continues. Father shares his own experience of carefully siding with the common estate whenever possible, while properly respecting the privileges of the nobility. Even a partial victory in such legal dispute comes as a great surprise to any commoner. Soon, the vermilion rays of the setting sun fill Father's office. Your workday has come to an end. As you walk through the corridors with Father, you see the other judges watching you closely. There's a knowing look about them. Sir Fuckagraben, your new acquaintance, is one of those judges.
Sir Brante Sr., Sir Brante Jr., good evening to you. It is a joy to see your son following in his father's footsteps, both in and out of the courtroom, I assume. I still believe you would do well to take me up on my offer. A grown man needn't cling to his father's coattails, although the decision is yours, of course.
Fuckagraben follows this with a courteous farewell and a nod. Father nods to him reservedly, keeping his emotions perfectly in check. Your first day at the prefecture has ended. A carriage is waiting outside to take you both back home. Okay. Began service at the prefecture. Wonderful. I'm a judge now.